Hello, and a very warm welcome to Cultural Communication Confidence with me, Victoria Reynoldson. And a very warm welcome to this incredibly special episode. Today, we start celebrating the launch of my brand new book, my first book, Become a Global Leader, coming out on 17th of November 2025. I'm incredibly excited to share this with you. This book, which I've been writing and editing over the last 12 months, has actually been a dream of mine for years to bring my work to life, to be able to reach more people and give them more value through the work that I do. So, this book is coming very, very soon, in exactly 2 weeks from the date of this podcast going live. And in a celebration of the book coming, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the 4 pillars of the book. The first pillar today is empower your confidence. The second pillar is master your clarity to elevate your influence. The third pillar, bridge challenging conversations. And the fourth pillar, connect with cultural intelligence. So we're going to do a pillar a week and do a deep dive into that topic so you can really understand the key themes and areas for you to consider and work on if you are somebody who wants to become a global leader, particularly if that goal is for you within the next 12 months. So today's topic will be all around that first pillar, empower your confidence. But before we deep dive into it, I want to let you know that we are also celebrating the book launch with a very special live event. In this event, we're going to be not only bringing together people to celebrate that launch, but I'm going to be hosting a live masterclass all around identifying your unique leadership signature. Beyond that, there'll be a live Q&A, opportunity to ask me questions about the book, as well as competitions and giveaways. So it's going to be a really great evening. I'm hosting that event on Monday, I should say, Monday, the 17th of November. And that is going to be at 6 p.m. GMT. That's London time. And if you would love to join us, you have a completely free ticket to come along to that event online, so you can join from anywhere in the world. Just head over to www.culturecuppa.com/book-launch. And I'll put that link in the show notes so that you can access your free ticket and join us on the Monday, the 17th of November. But back to the topic of empower your confidence. I chose this to be the first pillar within the book because this is part of my own personal journey as well. In fact, when I was in my early career, I didn't ever really feel that confident. I often felt like an imposter, that people would find me out. I also really did not enjoy standing up in front of people speaking. So I avoided presentations, public speaking, which is quite ironic when you think about what I do now. But the reality was that I was hiding, I was avoiding. And for me to really step into my leadership, both in my initial career in marketing and then later in founding this business and growing and scaling this business, I needed to empower my own confidence. And this is why this is such a core pillar in this book. It's the first pillar. I also know through the work that I do with my clients that confidence is a tricky thing. And it's also something that is often misunderstood. So people often believe that those people who are leaders already have that confidence, that they've always had it, they were born that way. The reality is that confidence is not a light switch that you turn on and that stays on permanently. Instead, it's something that's designed to go up and down. It's designed to increase and then flux again. And that is completely natural. In fact, that is very much in line with you growing as a leader. So, what I find is that as you start to grow, as you start to expand your comfort zone, what happens is you push against the boundaries of what is known to you, what is familiar to you. And therefore, what that means is you start to feel that feeling of lack of confidence. Now, what happens for many people is at that point, they treat that as a negative feeling, that this is the wrong thing to be doing. And at some point, may even indeed retreat or move away or move back from what they were trying to set out to do. The reality is, actually, this signal is a positive signal. It's a really positive idea that you're on the right track, you're heading in the right direction. And once you do something enough, once you're expanded into that zone and start to become familiar again, whether it's speaking, communicating in a certain way, operating at the next level, being in new spaces, in new rooms with more experienced leaders, once you get familiar with that again, then that will become your comfort zone. So, this is what I mean. Confidence is this journey that is designed to go up and down. But how do we actually really empower our confidence? Well, of course, the book is the best place for you to dive into all of the insights, exercises, and activations. And it's a very practical book to allow you the time and focus to really get into the reflection that you need to move yourself forward to become a global leader. But let me outline the four key areas around this chapter, this particular pillar. The first chapter within this pillar is identifying your unique value as a leader. It may sound obvious, but I often find in my work that people are often quick to move on from feedback. They may receive feedback about their strengths, their development areas and weaknesses, but they very quickly move on from that, file it, and move into the next thing. Alternatively, they may find themselves really focusing on the development areas, the weaknesses, and really looking at how to address these. Now, your development areas are incredibly important to you, but to empower your confidence, what I want to present to you instead is that you need to really double down on your strengths. You need to know what makes you unique, the talent that you have, how people experience you, and what are your special ingredients as a leader. It's knowing what you are doing and how you're making progress, acknowledging that progress along the way. And it's keeping this top of mind so that when things become challenging, when things are tough, you know in yourself your core strength that you are a leader inside, that you have that ability and absolutely the talent to make it happen. So this is part one. The next part of empowering your confidence is really knowing what's holding you back. This is a big one. And for me, this was really key to unlocking my own confidence on my own leadership journey and continuing on that journey as well. So in this chapter, I look at some of the myths and stories that come up, some of the things that I see as common themes between the people that I work with around what stops people from stepping up into their full leadership, what ultimately limits them. And it probably doesn't surprise you, but some of these themes are things that you probably know in yourself. Maybe you are a perfectionist. Maybe you are somebody who experiences imposter syndrome. But one theme is an interesting one that I find particularly with my global client base, and that is if I'm too confident, will I be seen as arrogant? And that is a brilliant question because ultimately this can be a cultural question. Whether the idea of how does power distance and hierarchy play out within your culture, it can also be about how you see yourself in relation to people who are more senior than yourself. It can be about whether you prefer to be a collectivist and discuss and agree in conversations together rather than to stand out and express your individual opinion. So, this question, is confidence the same as arrogance? I think it's a cultural question, but it doesn't necessarily need to equate to the same thing, which is why we address it within the book. The third chapter within Empower Your Confidence is all about your leadership identity. Now, your leadership identity is really critical. You need to know what it is you represent and how you show up. This is why we're going to be talking in this chapter about your personal brand. And whether you like it or not, you are a brand. And so it is much better to own your own personal brand, to cultivate it, to know how you want to position yourself within your organization and for that leadership role. We'll also talk about why visibility matters. And this can be quite a tricky one for some people because they don't necessarily feel very comfortable being in expanding their visibility and showing up in new or different spaces. And that's why in the book, I include my visibility pyramid. And that is a step by step approach to help you increase your visibility so that you can be truly seen in the right spaces. And that will help position you for that next career step, the next promotion. And then we have the final chapter within this pillar, which is all about owning the room and signaling your leadership. This is a really interesting chapter that has been evolving in my work over the last few years. But what we talk about here is your leadership energy, your intention in how you want to show up and be perceived, be felt, be experienced. We'll talk about the energy that you want to bring into that room and making it true and authentic to you, not just copying somebody else, and ultimately how you project it. So that is an overview of Empower Your Confidence, the first pillar within my brand new book, Become a Global Leader. As you can see, there is lots there. And I hope that you're encouraged and excited to buy this book when it goes live on the 17th of November. And I also hope that you will enjoy exploring the exercises and activations which are included in the book as well. But before we close on today's podcast, I'm going to share some questions in a minute to help you reflect on the learnings from today. And as a reminder, I would love to invite you to join me for the global launch, the virtual launch on the 17th of November itself, the day the book comes out. It's being held on Monday, which is at 6 p.m. GMT London time, and it will be online so you can join us from anywhere around the world. And in that launch, I'm going to be giving a masterclass identifying your unique leadership signature. We'll be doing a Q&A, so you get the chance to ask me your questions that are burning about leadership and how to evolve your own career path. Plus, you have the opportunity to learn more about the book and buy your own copy. And of course, there's going to be competitions and giveaways as well. So it's going to be a great event. Please join us for that. I'm really excited to host you online for that big celebration. And if you want to get hold of your free ticket, all you have to do is head over to www.culturecuppa.com/book-launch. And again, I'll put that link in the show notes. So, wrapping up this episode around empowering your confidence, let's reflect on the key questions that have come up during this episode. The first question is really thinking about your confidence today. When you consider how you feel about your confidence on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you today? And when you think about becoming a global leader, where do you want to get to? Finally, we talked in today's episode about the areas, the stories, the myths that might be holding us back. I'm really curious. What are some of the areas that you think are limiting you? and stopping you from progressing to become the global leader you want to become? I'd love to know the answers to these questions. And as ever, I'm really excited to hear what you take out of these episodes. So feel free to reach out to me, message me on LinkedIn, on my personal profile, Victoria Reynoldson, and let's continue the conversation. In the meantime, thank you for listening to today's episode and very much look forward to seeing you next time.